Hey, what's going on? If you don't know me, my name is Dallas, and you may know me as Matthew from the discussions posts, but I do go by Dallas, so there's a little bit of confusion settled there. But if you don't know me in person, I attend Central Church in Las Vegas, and I am an intern in the Central Kids and Central Youth area. And if you don't go to Central, basically that means I can be anywhere helping from the baby room all the way to 12th graders in Fuse, and everywhere in between. That's like where I'm at. And there's this really cool series that Central Youth is in, which is our junior high and high school areas, where we are talking about this thing called real talk. It's these questions that are just real, that kids may have about God that they're even scared to ask, where we're just talking about all these real issues. So when this assignment came up, I could think of nothing better than to answer one of those real-time questions. But before we get into that, I just want to go ahead and pray today. So let's go ahead and close our eyes and bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this day. I thank you for everyone that's in this room, God. God, I just ask that you bless this word and you bless the ears that receive it, God, and that it's all in your name. Amen. All right, so I got a question. Who here loves video games? All right, we got a few of them in there. Okay, who knows someone who's obsessed with video games? Okay, all of us at least know one person who's like obsessed with video games that we're like, that's a little unhealthy. Well, you can tell that person there's one more like him, because I have been obsessed with video games. Like, my whole life has been video games. I was born with this thing right here in my hands. The GameCube is where I started. I was born in the 2000s, right around 2000, and this came out in 2001. And so this is what I grew up on. This is where I explored my first video games. This is where I was playing Mario Kart. I was playing all those games right on here. And I take this stuff so seriously that I know I went from the GameCube to the Game Boy, the Game Boy to the DS to the Wii to the Xbox 360, the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One. And then the Xbox One led to also getting a PS4 and a Nintendo Switch and a Super Nintendo, all along the way. I take this stuff serious. This is life for me. This is real. But I can think of a time when I took this way too serious, where I got too aggravated, too upset, that I just took it one step too far. That I just shouldn't have done it, that I felt a little guilty. Now, you guys are probably thinking, what game did he get that serious at? You're probably thinking something like Mario Kart, maybe like Halo, maybe Call of Duty, maybe like Super Smash Bros, like something that you would probably think. No. I took a game about a blue hedgehog and made it serious. This was real for me. I got this at my 14th birthday party. And this game was something I had to beat. I had had all the Sonic games. I was beating them all. And it was crucial for me that I beat this game. I put it on the hardest difficulty, like I do with all my games. I'm like, I gotta beat it on the hardest difficulty, and then that way when my friends come over to play me, I can just immediately destroy them. Game over. It's that easy. But it wasn't that easy with this game. The boss level, I cannot even say the boss level without getting a little bit upset. This game made me so angry. The boss level was just repeated over and over of just game over, reset, game over, reset. It got to the point where I was at 100 plus times of just trying this level. I was just throwing a controller, like I was just upset. I'm pretty sure this damage at the box is from my dog, but it could have been from me. Like that's how upset I was. Like there was so much, just rage against this game. To the point where I just looked up and I said, you know what, God, if you don't let me beat this level, I'm gonna stop believing in you. I was genius. I thought I had it. I was like, God wants me to believe in him, so why wouldn't he let me beat the level? Like, I'm an instant genius. Like, it's like having a genie. If I just say that, it's game over, I beat it. Can you guys guess how long I lasted in that level? think it was probably like 2 seconds. I died faster than the hedgehog could have himself. I was like instantly dead, and I was like, ooh, what did I just do? I remember like taking a step back and being like, do I have to stop believing now? Like, is this something I really have to commit to now? Like, I felt that I crossed the line, that I did something I couldn't take back. Have you guys ever felt like that? That you crossed the line, that you did something so bad, that you did something so terrible, that you just crossed the line, that you went too far. We all have something we wish we could go back in time and fix. We wish we hadn't told that lie. We wish we hadn't cheated on that test, cheated on that person, tried that addiction. The list goes on and on of things we wish we could go back in time and just fix. And the truth is, at the time when I did that, when I screamed at God, I didn't think he could ever forgive me. God, in my mind, worked like my family worked. If you do something, time out. Like, action equals consequence. I couldn't wrap my mind around the fact that God was just merciless, that he didn't care about punishment. I couldn't wrap my mind around a God that just forgave me. Well, that's my question. That's that real talk question I was talking about. How do we know that God has forgiven us? I want to be clear in saying that God has forgiven me. But how do we know that? How do we know that God has forgiven us? How do we have faith that God has forgiven us? Well, when I think of forgiveness, I immediately think of the apostles. If you know anything about the apostles, you know that they each did something. They each had some type of thing that God had to forgive them for. And the one that comes to my mind is Peter. Peter had so many faults that God just forgave. And it's really funny to me that his name literally meant rock, unwavering. Like, he was supposed to be a rock, but every time you see him in the story, you see him waver. It's so crazy. And I know we're in a Bible college, and I know a lot of us know the story of Peter. But I still think there's a lot to take out of it. So I want to share with you guys some of the things we can take out of Peter's story. First is believing during the story. One of my favorite stories in the Bible is the story of Jesus walking on water. It has stuck with me ever since I was a kid. I have always just been obsessed with the ocean, with water, and so I was like, Jesus can walk on water? This is awesome. I remember being a kid and going out to my pool, and I was like, I'm gonna try. I just gotta keep my eyes on God. Like, I love this story. And as I've grown up, I've seen all the things that it can teach me, and I want to share some of those with you. In Matthew 14, 22 through 24, it says, immediately he made the disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowds. And after he had dismissed the crowds, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. When evening came, he was there alone. But the boat by this time was a long way from the land, beaten by the waves, for the wind was against them. We're only a few sentences into the story, and things are kind of going south. Like, the apostles are separated from Jesus, the wind is against them, the waves are crashing up against them. Like, they had to feel in that moment that just everything was going wrong. They're separated from Jesus. The waves are beating against them. Even the wind was against them. Like, they had this feel in that moment like, come on, Lord. Like, they had to feel that just, come on, like, what's going on? And I don't know about you guys, but I felt that in my life, where I've just been separated, where I felt like God was up on the mountain praying, that waves were just hitting me back and forth, that the wind was even against me. when I was 14, the same time I got that game, was also the roughest time of my life, I would say. I was facing an addiction. I was cheating in school. I was fighting with my family. There were so many things in my life that were just going south. And when Sunday came, I didn't want to go to church. I just felt that if I went, then I was just going right into the belly of the beast. Like, I was just going to have to face all my guilt, all the shame that I built up in myself. I felt that I had to face that. But what I found was that was where I needed to be. Believing during the storm led me to know that forgiveness was there for me, that God had already forgiven me. We need to believe during the storm. That's one way how we know we're forgiven. When we start believing in that storm, that's where we see a life change. And speaking of life change, that brings me right to my next point. Don't fear when life change is coming. I don't know about you guys, but it's pretty common for me to get jump scared. Like, I'm fine in scary movies. I'm fine in scary mazes. I'm even fine in escape rooms. Like, I know I'm gonna get scared, so I'm just like, all right, there's a zombie. There's a zombie. Oh, guy with the chainsaw. Like, I'm not scared of that stuff. But if I'm in the middle of something, like, I will jump like a little girl. Like, I'm not even kidding. There has been so many times my family knows this fact, so I come out of the restroom and they scare me and I will jump. I accidentally once slapped my friend across the face because my immediate reaction was, ah! There is so many times in my life that I have just been scared out of my mind because I'm in the middle of something. And it's great to see in the Bible that I'm not the only person who gets scared. When we look at Matthew 14, 25 through 27, it says, "And in the fourth watch of the night he came to them, walking on the sea. But when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified and said, 'It is a ghost.' And they cried out in fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, 'Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid.'" So, as we know from the last few verses, things are already going south. Like, the storm's up against them, the wind is up against them, Jesus is gone. I'd be a little creeped out if this random shadow out of nowhere started walking towards me. I'd probably scream like they did. Like, it's scary. But, you know, when I see this story, I think of how we do the same thing to God. We fear when God's coming near us. Sometimes we accept him, and we're ready for that life-changing moment. But when he starts getting near, we get scared, saying, "It's a ghost, get away." We don't want that forgiveness. We're not ready to change our ways. We can't have faith in that forgiveness because we're scared. We're afraid. We can't afford to be afraid of the life change that is coming. God wants to work with us, and we can't be afraid of that. We need to, in fact, keep our eyes focused on God, which is my last point. Keep your eyes focused on God. Most of us know how the story ends, but I want to share it with you guys because there's so many things to take away from here. Matthew 14, 28 through 32. And Peter answered him, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." He said, "Come." So Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water and came to Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid. And beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Jesus immediately reached out his hand and took hold of him, saying to him, "Oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt?" And when they got into the boat, the wind ceased. These verses are so amazing, and they have so many great takeaways. But I think the one point we really need to take away is to not take our eyes off of God. I know what you guys are probably thinking. Sure, dude. I'm going to keep my eyes on God. Like, sure, yeah, easy stuff. Sure, I've heard this since I was a little kid. Like, don't take your eyes off God. Like, that's the main point of the story. Woo! But you guys may be wondering, how am I supposed to keep my eyes on God if Peter had the dude right in front of him and couldn't even do it. How are we supposed to do that? How are we supposed to keep our eyes on God when we can't even see him? He's all around us, but we can't see him. We can't keep our eyes on God in the way that Peter should have been able to with Jesus. How do we keep our eyes on God and know that forgiveness is coming? Well, I think the main thing to do with that is don't get obsessed. Don't get obsessed with keeping your eyes on a literal image of God. Keep eye with your heart. I want to tell you guys a story about a little boy, that's me, who loved Power Rangers. We all had our favorite Power Ranger, whether it be the red, the blue, the green ranger, the black ranger, the yellow ranger, the pink ranger. We all had our favorite Power Ranger. And from this picture, you can probably tell who my favorite was. Yes, I loved the pink Power Ranger. I have no shame about it. I was going to marry this ranger. I was 2 years old and I knew I was going to marry the pink Power Ranger. Like, I was ready for it. And my parents knew this fact that I loved the pink Power Ranger, so they bought me a pink Power Ranger pinata. I was like, this is great. Like, the pink Power Ranger's at my party. This is awesome. And then they explained to me what a pinata was. You had to break a pinata. And I was like, I don't want to break it. No. That's the pink Power Ranger. I don't want to break it. So I cried. I threw a fit. And here's happy me holding onto the pink Power Ranger. But the funny side to this story is right after this picture, I found out that it was one of those cheap pinatas that if you hug it, it's going to break. So right after this photo, it literally destroyed it itself. But the funny part was I realized candy was in it. And I realized I missed the whole point of the pinata, because I could have gotten candy. And that's what little me cared about. And that's what happens with God. We get so focused on all this other stuff that we lose the main point. We lose the whole purpose behind it. When I was a kid, I just was thinking about the pink Power Ranger. I didn't care about the pinata or anything. I just wanted the pink Power Ranger. Sometimes we do that with God. We get so focused on this other stuff that we forget the whole reason we're supposed to be keeping our eyes on God, so he can work in us. He can show us forgiveness. Let's go ahead. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this day. I thank you for everyone that's in this room, God. God, I ask that this coming week and for the rest of our lives, we are able to realize that we need to keep our eyes focused on you, that we need to patiently wait for you, that we should know life change is coming, God, that you want to work in us and that you have forgiveness for us. We just need to accept it. It's all in your name.